Alrighty guys, welcome back to FSFT. We have an unreal video for you today. A great guest. Jackson, who do we got?
The founder of Optic, the Codfather, Hector Rodriguez.
Said I'm taking big shots, just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot. Pissed off, thought I told him this a chip shot. I ain't missing cause you know I'm taking big shots. Just stop where I'm driven, no pit stops. This hot, I ain't playing like a 6 spot.
Well, my name is Hector Raul Rodriguez. I was born in El Paso, Texas. I lived in Juarez, Mexico until I was 13. That's 1993. That's when I moved to Wheeling, Illinois. It's a northwest suburb of Chicago. I think that's where my story really begins. Well, the early days are important, but I think that, you know, once I got to the United States is when I sort of got introduced to pop culture, right? To hip hop in its early days, graffiti, which is yeah, that's my thing. That is in my DNA. I am a graffiti writer. Not a great one or a good one, but good enough to be dangerous. And, you know, I never really played video games throughout my entire, you know, childhood. I was always about sports. Kids nowadays don't do this, but you could not leave the house without a pair of shorts under your pants. And it was easier back in the 90s because you had baggier pants, so the shorts made it easier. You see people, you know, playing 21, you and your boys get out, you go play some games. I was already a fan of Jordan, even in Juarez, right, 92, 93, when they were playing against the Lakers. But once I moved to Chicago, you know, it became very, very apparent that I was going to just admire this one man for the rest of my life, even to this day, right? Like it's, I'll die on the hill that he is the greatest of all time. Stats prove it. Sure, he didn't play as long as somebody else has played, and I'm not taking anything away from the king, you know, LeBron. But one is God and one is a king. No offense to anybody who's religious. Oh, okay. So there's, I mean, what category? If you're talking about NBA, then I obviously want the Michael Jordan rookie. It's obvious, right? If I'm talking my top two favorite players of all time, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, then surprise, Larry Bird. Growing up, Larry Bird was my guy because, you know, green has always been my favorite color. My dad loved Magic Johnson, so he and I sort of went back and forth. But anyway, like I think the Michael Jordan one would be like the one of the most unattainable things that I one day will want and you know more than likely will own. But also his, you know, some 85 game-worn Jordans in my size, in case I want to feel froggy. They don't have to be autographed, but I would like just to hang them as a piece of artwork. 6050, it's our first Optic house. It's 6050 Russell Drive, Hoffman Estates, Illinois, 60193. You know, early on, I wanted to make my team mean something. And if you want to build something that means something, you have to care about every single iteration of your team in a particular year. Where we first started with intros, our intros for our YouTube channel, it was always this one logo. And then I'm like, all right, let's switch the logo for next year. Not the logo, but the intro. So that's how it started, right? I wanted to mark moments. And, you know, you have 2006 intro, 2007, 2008, 2009, and, you know, obviously YouTube algorithm dislikes intro, so we went away from them. It sort of triggered a lot of people to start doing the same with their intros. But then when we got into actual competitive Call of Duty, you know, we printed just enough T-shirts for the team. You know, we never, and you know, back then it wasn't as organized as it is now. It was just MLG events. And our first jersey, we only got to play one event. So we never got the chance or the opportunity to sell those. The next season, the 2011 jerseys, those were sold. Yeah. And then we have the 2012s, the 2013s, 2014s, 2015s, 2016s. And, you know, we're approaching 20 years, well, 15 since the time that we started printing t-shirts, but we have a different iteration of those. And it was because of the Jordan shoe, right? Jordans, you know, they're up to like 39, I think now. So that's the inspiration that I got from Jordan and collecting, that I figured, you know what, we have to do something different. And like the Bulls, we are never gonna change our logo.
Yeah, I love that.
I say that with an Optic Texas logo behind us, but
not your fault.
no, it's not my fault, man. You know, my favorite jersey has to be like the first one. The first, it's like this paintball looking thing, and it's like a paintball company was printing our jerseys. They were known as RazaLife.com and out of Los Angeles. I don't think they're still around. I'm a firm believer in leaving everything as is. As my brand grows, I want the jersey manufacturer to grow with me. And obviously, because of the way that things went and everything, that people, you know, sometimes they can't keep up with their own stuff. So we had to switch over, and then we went to this company called Hit Point out of Brussels, Germany. Am I saying that right? Is Brussels in Germany? I don't know if it's in Germany.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Over 55 championships. We have the most Call of Duty tournament wins of all time, the most World Championship Call of Duty team of all time. We have the first team to go back-to-back. We're the first team to win a World Championship in the CDL and also EWC. We have the most wins in Gears of War. We have, actually, you know, I don't know if we're still the winningest Halo team of all time, but I'm pretty sure that we still are. We have one Counter-Strike trophy there. We have a Masters, Reykjavik, Valorant, but that one I split in half with Envy because that's when we did the merger. We put together a system that a lot of esports organizations do now. Like up until we came along, there was no organization that was doing content in competition. That's what I think that I brought to the table. The ability for organizations to be able to make money whether or not they win a championship. During our tenure in Illinois, from 2013 to 2017, there was only one Chicago team that had a bigger social media footprint than we did, okay? It was the Bulls because they had God playing for them in the 90s. But aside from that, the Cubs had 1 million. The Bears had 1.3. We were at 4 million fucking followers on Twitter, you know? So it's not what we learned from sports, but what did we give sports back, right? And it is the ability to connect with a younger demographic that they were not touching, right? They baseball, so stupid. They took the sport away from the kids. They created this MLB application where you had to pay like crazy ass shit, and you couldn't even watch it. What about the kids who go to school, who have a phone? Yeah. And that's where they consume majority. Like look at now, like you have athletes having their own podcasts. You never before see yourself. I still have like 7 of the first run t-shirts that we made. It doesn't have our logo on them. It's just a graffiti print that says Optic Gaming. And maybe I made like 50 of them. It was just like all friends and family stuff. I have everything. My wife is a really, really good collector also. She buys everything that we drop in secret, doesn't tell who it is. So it goes and, she doesn't like to get free stuff from the company. So she does that. Yeah. Not every single confetti, but I have confetti from every single championship that we won. This is my 2017 ring. I collect it all. Every single jersey, except for, I don't have any of the Mexico ones, any of the India ones. When I sold Optic, the people that were sort of running it and managing it, they overexpanded too quickly and they just started printing fucking different jerseys all in the same year. And I'm like, that's not the jersey program.
No, yeah. Also India. Crazy story.
Crazy story, man. Yeah. Fuck Forsaken.
So this guy literally cheated.
Wearing the fucking logo, the purity. He is lucky I was not around. He had aimbots, hacks,
on a landing event.
On a landing event.
You mentioned confetti. You have a crazy confetti story in terms of one being somewhere the day that they won recently.
In my shoe, here. I'm sitting right here. When we went to the World Champs, this past World Champs, I was wearing the reverse neon 95s. And when I got home and I pulled out that shoe, one of the confetti was still in there. And actually, I left it in there, and then it came out of my shoe in Chicago just recently. I put it back in there, and I'm just gonna see how long it lasts in there until the paper cuts me. Yeah, look, the green wall, another little snippet there is that our first event that we ever went to was here in Dallas. It was the Hilton Anatole in Dallas, 2010, November. It was me, my brother, Diesel, Carlton, Jay, and somebody else. But it was 4 big dudes standing behind our players. And a coach from across the way says, he's like, oh, look at them. They look like they have a green wall behind them.
I didn't know.
And I took that. His name is Paul Magna, a good friend of mine. Well, became a good friend of mine later. But yeah, it's about keeping your eyes open to the opportunity, because more often than not, the universe sometimes puts things in front of you that you just have to be like, you know what, that's a good idea. But There's a millions upon millions of good ideas. And there's nothing sadder than a good idea go unrealized.